pursuant to Article 9, Section 16 of the Constitution of the Federated States of Micronesia and Title 3, Section 201 of the Code of the Federated States of Micronesia, and as set forth in the official rules of procedure of the Congress, I hereby call the 21st Congress of the FSM Second Special Session to order. May I ask that we all rise for a moment of silent prayer. At this time, because we have two senators-elect, it's my privilege to appoint a credentials committee to review and report on the credentials of these two senators-elect. I hereby appoint Floor Leader Harper to chair that committee, and members will be Senators Ursumal, Welly, and Berman. So we will now go into a recess for the Credentials Committee to do its works and report back to Congress. Short recess subject to call of the chair. The Congress will now come back into session. The next item is the presentation and adoption of the credentials report. I will give this opportunity to the chairman of the committee, Floor Leader Harbour, to present its report for consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I present the brief and summary report, I just want to apologize to you and all honorable members if the content of my brief report may not totally satisfy any one of you. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, and guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Mr. Speaker, I'm honored on behalf of the Credentials Committee to present the Credentials Report. Your Committee on Credentials, to which was referred the review of the credentials of the Honorable Elects Peter M. Christian of Palm Bay and Aaron B. Alec of Coast-Rye, members elect to the at-large seats of the two states to the 21st Congress, begs leave to report as follows. Your Committee on Credentials has carefully reviewed the qualifications and eligibility of the senators-elect as certified by our National Election Director after the July 2, 2009 special election, and find that there is no legal impediment to the senators-elect taking their oath of office today. We are submitting a report that they are eligible and qualified to serve as members of the 21st Congress. With all this being said, Mr. Speaker, I move that this 21st Congress adopt the written report of the Credential Committee. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
It's moved and seconded that the oral and written reports on the sitting of the senators-elect be adopted. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Discussion on the report? Any discussion? If none, if there's no objection, discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of the report say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The report, as presented by the Credentials Committee's chairman, Floor Leader Harbour, is adopted by Congress. Those two members will now take their oath of office of senator. May you all stand while I called on the Honorable Worswick to come forward and present the oath of office to two of you. May I ask Senators-elect Christian and Balik to stand up.
Right, the senators-elect, you are to repeat after me. After saying aye, please state your own name. Raise your right hand and take your oath. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Senator of Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia, and will, to the best of my ability, uphold, promote, and support the laws and the Constitution of the Federated States of Micronesia. So help me God. Thank you. Congratulations.
Our two senators are now officially seated as members of the 21st Congress. I will, at this point, ask the Chief Clerk to call the roll of the 21st Congress.
Senator Aritos, Senator Christian, Senator Figuer, Senator Coolant, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Conman, Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Nath, Senator Pollack, Senator Perman,
Amen.
Senator Romolo, Senator Ursmal, Senator Wally, Speaker Simina.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 13 members are present.
We have quorum to transact business this morning. The next item is appointment of the committee to wait on the President. It is my privilege to appoint Vice Speaker Moses of Pohnpei to be a member and to be the chairman. And members will be Senator Pollack from Koshai, Senator Coolant from Chuk, and Senator Ursino from Yap. Please, Vice Speaker, consult with the President on the time and place of your meetings. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, Presidential Communications. We're in receipt of Presidential Communications numbers 21-29 through 21-45.
Okay, assign those, Chief Clerk.
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chairman Berman, state your point.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, good morning to you, members. Utmost respect to His Excellency Panuelo, the Honorable Vice President George, still members of the President's Office, the cabinet members, the diplomatic corps, and all that are observing our session this morning. Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of privilege. I have a really long list here, so I'm just going to make it short, and I'll recognize usually, especially the chief magistrate or mayors or administrators, and then I will submit the list for the record. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Yes, I want us to, after reading all of their names, and then we just give them a collective applause. Menin Keter, Lapalap, Chief Administrator, Metalanim Municipal Government, the Honorable Patrick Ringland. Lucan Menlap, Chief Administrator, Kichi Municipal Government, the Honorable Tony Sarabio. Chief Minister of Government, the Honorable Taker Abraham. Nalay Metalanim Takashi, First Lady Maria Ringland from the Metalanim government, and the rest I will. Also, Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Pohnpei delegation as your chairman of the Pohnpei delegation and the people of Pohnpei. I would like to congratulate the two newcomers, Tauk Nech, or the Honorable Christian, and Balik from Kushai to Congress. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Berman. Your note will be submitted to the Journal Clerk for record purposes. Okay.
Point of privilege, Speaker.
Yes, Floor Leader Harper, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to follow suit by also introducing certain officials and dignitaries who are also observing our session this morning. And if I may, Mr. Speaker, I would like to start off with our own Excellency President David W. Panuelo. Let's give him a round of applause. And I do understand that the First Lady is also with him. So let us also give her a round of applause. And I believe along with our own President, we also have our Vice President, the Honorable Vice President Yusuf P. George. With the two from the executive branch, we are also happy and fortunate to have someone from the judiciary branch, the Honorable Associate Justice Bulin Carl Worswick. For our diplomatic community, we are also happy that, if not all, most of them are here. So let me start off with His Excellency George Fraser, Ambassador from the Australian Embassy to FSM. Let's give him a round of applause. Along with Ambassador Fraser, we have His Excellency Robert A. Riley, Ambassador of the United States to FSM. We also have with the two, the Honorable Koichi Suakiyama, Charge Affairs, Japan Embassy. We also have here with us Mr. Sang Wei Tao, Charge the Affairs, Embassy of the People's Republic of China. And it is also my understanding that the Second Secretary Wu Yibao is also here with us from the Embassy of People's Republic of China. We are also fortunate and happy to have also certain dignitaries who are also here with us. From the COM, we have Mr. Joe Abuchumai, Vice President of the Administrative Service. Let's give him a round of applause also. And of course, our friend, Vice President Asterio Takashi, Vice President of Guam, Bank of Guam. So let's also give him a round of applause. And with these two, we have the Speaker of Colonia Town Council, Mr. Jack Harris. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These are the lists that have been given by our Public Information Officer, and my apology if I leave out some of the officials that may be here. But I do believe that some of the Presidential Cabinet members are here, so let's just give them a collective round of applause also. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Floor Leader Harbour, for the introduction. Indeed, I personally and on behalf of Congress, I'll join you in welcoming all those that you have introduced. We're always honored to have our officials and citizens and friends and partners to join us in our openings. That's always something that we welcome and we appreciate. Okay, any other point of privilege? Maybe I should give these two gentlemen who just joined us the 21st Congress, if they have anything to say to their constituents or to the Congress or to the nation. Who should start off? Senator Christian?
Mr. Speaker and members, honorable visitors in the gallery, thank you very much. It certainly looks different from here, Mr. Speaker, from when you're sitting, and it looks different from here from where the President is sitting. So please bear with me for a few days. I'm trying to shed a few skin. But I used to be called the oldest member of Congress. And now you can just call me the oldest member, period. I've returned to Congress. I've taken the oath of Congress 3 times, so I know how it feels to be returning. But the oath itself is something not to fool around with. It's an oath that needs to be taken seriously. And while I do appreciate the brevity of the discussions held by the committee to scrutinize the credentials of the members-elect, I do wish that the work of the committee would have been a little bit more extensive to include the allegations of mischievousness that I may have committed during my term away from Congress. Nevertheless, Mr. Speaker and members, the fact that only Congress has the right to seat or not seat a member is not lost on me. And I do appreciate that the members of Congress find it appropriate to seat myself and, of course, seat Mr. Palik in this Congress. I also want to thank the communities of Pohnpei for taking the time again to go to the polls. I know elections are very tiring process, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Pohnpei for their endurance during the election feats that have just been completed. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and members of Congress again for your assistance.
Thank you very much, Senator Christian, for your statements. They're well taken and well noted. It is true that the Congress is the sole judge of the qualifications of its members, and we take that seriously as well. The brevity of the report has nothing to do with the substance of it. I think that's what I would like to make clear. Okay, Senator Palik, you have the floor. We will first time hear your voice in this chamber.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. Being that this is my first time to speak in this Congress and in this hall, let me first and foremost give grace and thank our Heavenly Father for His blessings and for giving me this rare and wonderful opportunity to serve our people and our nation. Secondly, I would also like to thank the people of Coxsackie, both on island and abroad, for their trust and confidence in me by electing me to this Congress. Without them, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, let me also take this opportunity to congratulate all of you on your election or re-election to Congress. Senator Christian, congratulations and welcome back. As I look around, I notice that I'm the newest and probably the most freshman member of Congress. But I also notice that I know each and every one of you very personally, and I've had the privilege of working with many of you in different walks of life, in different responsibilities and capacities. So it gives me comfort to know that you, my colleagues, are around, and I certainly will be looking for your advice and consent as we move forward. I think that I believe that the mission and purpose of this body is great. And I think that the developmental initiative of this nation is overwhelming. So I look forward to working with you in our effort to seek a perfect federation, more perfect federation. and all of this for the ultimate objective of improving the lives and livelihood of our people. So my remark will be brief, Mr. Speaker. Just say thank you, thank the people of Koshai for their support, for giving me the opportunity to serve them, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Palik. Once again, I congratulate the two of you upon your on the occasion of your elections by the people of Pohnpei and Koshai. It is my hope that you will take seriously the confidence that your people have spoken to the votes. And of course, I look forward to working with the two of you in the next 4 years as a member of Congress and also with our colleagues. Any other point of privilege?
Speaker.
Chairman Romulo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. It is very rare that citizens of the Northwest District sit in the gallery, and that is the reason why I want to raise on the point of a privilege. But before I do that, I would like to associate myself with the previous speakers in welcoming the observers of this morning session, His Excellency President Panuelo, the Honorable Vice President George, and the other dignitaries who are in the gallery this morning. I raise on a point of privilege, Mr. Speaker, to beg the intelligence of this Congress to recognize with me the two individuals who's in the gallery from the Northwest region in Chuk. Even though they have been recognized, but I wish to also recognize them. Let me start with the Honorable Asterio Takeshi, the Vice President of the Bank of Guam, and also the Chairman of the JCRB. Also in the gallery, Mr. Speaker and distinguished members, we also have Memorina Sablon, who's working for the Postal Office, the FSM Postal Office. And I ask that we give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Romulo. We're still in campaign mode. Huh? We just finished. Anyway, thank you for the introduction. I'll join you in welcoming our two citizens who are joining us this morning. Any other point of privilege? Chairman Woolley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you and members. Senator Haren Palik and I bring you greetings from the island south of Pingleb. And we also join the previous speakers in welcoming His Excellency President Panuelo, First Lady, and Vice President George. Mr. Speaker and members, we also ask that you join us in welcoming and recognizing some individuals from Koshai that are in the gallery this morning. We already introduced His Excellency Vice President George, so I will start with Secretary Calvin Caives, Secretary of Department of Education, Atelita Haren Palik, wife of Senator Haren Palik, Palitru Albert, friend of Elise, Stacia Nanbe from the Post Office, and Ginger Kazuamita, also from Koshai. Senator Nenanet from Christ State Legislature, Pilika Palik, nephew of Senator Haren Palik and his wife, Elnor Pilika, and last is Aaron Skilling. Please welcome them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Willie. Again, I join you and Senator Palik in welcoming our constituents and citizens from, residents of Kusai who are joining us this morning. And I'm curious about the middle name of Ginger. I don't know. That's anyway. Thank you very much for the introduction. Any other point of privilege before we proceed? If not, you can always do it any time after as we move along. Next item is
Short recess, Speaker.
short recess, subject to call of the chair.
Mr. Speaker, next item is FSM Supreme Court communications in receipt of
Behind that, there is that 21-03 on FSM Supreme Court communications because we're thankful for the Honorable Justice Carl Worswick for doing the swearing in of our two new members. I wish we can consider their request for supplemental, right? Okay. All right. Next item. Assigned to us, Chief Clerk. Next item.
member communications, there are none.
Next item.
Item 11, departmental communications in receipt of numbers 21-08 through 21-13.
Assigned
The
those.
next item, it's agency or governmental authority communications on receipt of numbers 21-05 through 21-07.
Assigned those. Next item.
Item 13, state communications, none, Mrs. Speaker. Item 14, also none, state Supreme Court communications. And then item 15, municipal or town communications on receipt of one, and it's number 21-01.
Assigned that, Chief Clerk. Next item.
Item 16, foreign government communications on receipt of numbers 21-07 through 21-09.
Sign those, Chief Clerk. Next item. It's order of the day.
Under order of the day, item 17, standing committee reports, none, Mrs. Speaker.
Next item.
Item 18, special committee reports, none.
Next.
Item 19, assignment of measures and communications. We have assignment or referral sheet number 21-08, which is attached to the order of business.
Okay, Chairman and members, review that for your planning purposes. Next item.
Item 20, unfinished business, none, Mrs. Speaker.
Continue.
Item 21, bill calendar, none. Item 22, resolution calendar, also none. Item 23, introduction of bills and resolutions.
If you have any measure to introduce, pass them on to Chief Clerk. Next item.
Item 24, miscellaneous communications, and when receipt of numbers 21-01 through 21-05.
Okay, assign those, Chief Clerk. Next item.
Item 25, miscellaneous business.
Do you have any miscellaneous business?
Mr. Speaker,
Senator Christian.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's amazing how environment gets to you very quickly. In the short time I've been sitting here, my congressional mood seems to have returned. So my question is, how much money do we have to appropriate?
Good question.
My second item is a simple one. I want to introduce a close relative of mine who's here, representing my family in our appreciation for Congress's action this morning. May I introduce my very close relative, Chris Christian.
Please stand up.
Thank you very much, Speaker and members.
Thank you, Senator Christian. Yes, it seems like you're getting back into the mood of being a member of Congress. Yeah, that question is, I think it's with our budget and legal people, so you can ask them that question. Okay, any other miscellaneous business? I just want to, once again, welcome every one who are here, especially our Excellency President Panuelo and Ms. Panuelo and Vice President George and our members, dean and members of the Diplomatic Corps, and everyone else. We thank you and welcome you for joining us in this opening day of our second special session. I just want to once again remind members of this Congress, especially the chairman, that between now and September is the time we try to do our best to finish our budget. So I would like to once again encourage the chairman and members of the committees to continue their work during this special session and in between our sessions, so we can finish our budget in time, so we don't need to go into those things like continuing resolutions and so forth. So with that, we also have some items that the President has submitted for our consideration, especially a supplemental. I urge that we look at those and act on them quickly. Okay. There's no further. Let's go to announcement. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Let's begin with the committee to wait on the President, with Chairman Vice Speaker Moses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members. I would like to also welcome His Excellency President Panuelo, First Lady, and the Honorable Vice President George, and also welcome their cabinet and members of the Diplomatic Corps and those that are observing our gallery. The committee to wait on the President will have its consultation with the President right after session. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Moses. Please take note, members of the committee to wait on the President for the time and place of your meeting immediately after session. Okay, Chairman Willie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is no announcement from your Committee on External Affairs.
Thank you. Chairman Ned.
Thank you, Speaker. No announcement at this time.
Chairman Berman.
Thank you. No announcement from HSA.
Chairman Romulo.
No announcement, but I was to ask if we could go back to miscellaneous.
There's no objection. We will go back to miscellaneous. Okay, we're now back to item 25, miscellaneous business. State your miscellaneous business, Chairman Romulo.
Thank you, Speaker. Before I state my miscellaneous, I wish to share how I felt before a week ago with our only airline servicing the FSM, the United Airlines. Before, I always complained that United don't do a good service, customer service. I always complain. A week ago, I experienced a severe sickness that during my en route to one of my trip, and I was amazed with the level of care that the United Airlines have taken. And I also wish to thank them, and also the hospitals, namely the Genesis Hospital, for taking care of me when I went through that severe sickness. And if it's not because of their service and the care that they provided, I don't think I'll be able to sit here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Romulo. Indeed, when you're not experience anything bad, you will always complain. But when you get to receive the service, you'll be thankful. It's a human thing. That's good. That's good. You at least put that in the records. And I join you in thanking the airline and thanking the hospital for making sure that you were taken care of and you were able to recuperate from your illness. And of course, first among everything, we thank the Lord for taking care of you. Thank you. Okay, if there is no objection, we will now go back to the announcement. Chairman Golan, announcement.
Speaker, short announcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Golan. Chairman Kwanman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Your Special Committee on Climate Change and Environment has no announcement at this time.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Urusamo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, but it's beginning to sound like a broken record. No announcement, no announcement. So I will have one. Your Committee on Education had been on vacation for some time, so now it's time to go to work. So on Friday, this coming Friday, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is I believe, the allocated time for that eating committee, Education Committee, we will have a hearing with the nominee, with the nomination of, for the nomination of Susan Garland to the Board of Regents for the College of Micronesia, only by herself, except other witnesses that she wished to bring, not the college. We will meet with the college after we have that hearing with Susan Garland. So it'll be the nominee first and then the college afterward. Meeting with the college will be to finalize our review of their budget for FY 2000. Is it 20 or 21?
20.
20. And also oversight issues, including all the comments, complaints, and recommendations, suggestions for improving the college. I also was sitting here during the miscellaneous business. I know for sure that there are a couple of Yappies here, but I don't want to introduce them because first, Florida already did, and I didn't want to introduce those that I physically saw and not the others who may be here from YAP. So I just play it safe by not introducing them, but I welcome them, those of them that are here, especially the secretary and your staff from the YAP delegation office. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That's a long way of announcing the Education Committee meeting, but thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Rismo. It's good to know that the Committee on Education is now back to work after several sessions. Yeah. Okay. Vice Speaker, you have any other announcement to make? None. Senator Palik, you have any announcement?
None, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Aritos?
Thank you, Speaker. No announcement.
Senator Christian, you have any announcement?
Just want to say that I'm available for any committee to recruit me.
Of course, thank you, Senator Christian. We will have our staff work with you and Senator Palik on that. They will give you the assignments. Okay, Floor Leader, do you have any announcement before you make your usual motion?
Speaker, as the Ponapayan say, Socha Bakay, and I move that we stand in recess until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
It's moved and seconded that Congress stand in recess until tomorrow at 10 in the morning. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Congress now stands in recess until tomorrow at 10 in the morning.